Hello everyone, I'm Lax, and this week I'm going to be recording some modern videos with Bant Retreat. This deck was played to a top 4 finish at Washington State's by Richard Neal. And it kind of, I wrote an article last month about this card plus this card and how you just kill your opponent with it, kind of like Splinter Twin, and how unlike Splinter Twin, this is a really good card, and this card is reasonable. So it's not like you have Splinter Twin, which is basically a brick, and a reasonable, serviceable Deceiver, Exarch, or Pestermite. You have great magic card plus acceptable magic card. So your combo pieces are a lot better. And as a result, you get to build decks like a normal Bant deck that has a combo kill in it. Um, so first thing you'll notice, this is basically just your very stock Bant deck. There's just a bunch of doofuses and some utility creatures. There's not a lot of doing cool things here. You know, you've got Voice of Resurgence, which you kind of play it, and if your opponent doesn't have the good cards against, like, if your opponent is trying to interact with you and you play this card, they're going to have a really bad time trying to beat it. It's just going to make all of their cards miserable. Liliana miserable, counterspells miserable, spot removal pretty miserable. Some Pride Mages, sure, why not? Kill your stuff. You know, typical Kasali Pride Mage business. You know, well-educated cat, has a good job, you know, destroying artifacts and enchantments. Scavenging Ooze, somewhere between Doofus and big creature and utility creature. Mana creature is pretty stock here, trying to ramp to Collected Company. How did this Birds of Paradise get over here? There are more mana dorks than that, and I wish I had more of this awesome art Birds of Paradise that's hiding, but don't seem to understand why Moto didn't select more of that one for my deck, because this just looks really cool. Um, then, big creatures. Knight, very large creature. Loxodon Smiter, very large creature with some abilities that don't really matter once it hits the battlefield. Geist Saint Trapped, pretty effectively a big creature, also very good with retreat. Landfall, tapping their creatures to get them out of the way so you can actually connect with this card is very powerful. And Tarmogoyf, because obviously Tarmogoyf, why would you not play with Tarmogoyf? This is a Collected Company deck. You have 20 actually good hits, and then another 7 acceptable hits. 4. Birds isn't the best hit, but to the first 20 is probably good enough. Retreat for the combo, and then Path to Exile. You do need some interaction. This is modern. You will die if you don't have that. Going through the math that I did, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fetches. That is enough. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands you can fetch. Now, if you can full combo with Knight, you'll notice there are a lot of forest and plains to fetch to produce mana. So if you do need to boost through with this Kessig Wolf run at the end, you are making 5, probably 4 or so pain-free mana, plus the Wolf Run activation off of the Stomping Ground. So it costs you a little less life than it normally would. You're playing Wolf Run over, what's the card? Why am I blanking out? Sunhome, Fortress of Legion. Sunhome is better if you are actually just killing them with the Knight combo, because it takes less life to Sunhome kill. But at the same time, Wolfrun is just a good magic card, and you don't have to draw one of your bricks. You know, Sunhome is not that great in your deck. And that's the Jury Step. I'm interested to see how this one plays out. I'm also interested that there's no Ghost Quarter, but that probably has to do with the fact that Magic Online is probably either light on Tron and, or well, not Magic Online. The metagame out in Washington is either light on Tron and Amulet, or it's just very possible this deck just doesn't beat Tron or Amulet with just Ghost Quarter, so just not even worth trying. But I do kind of like Sajiri Step in the Geist Saint Traft deck. Like, you are actually doing something unique. If you like, your opponent has a stalled up board, you can get through with Knight plus Geist with this step. So you just, you know, attack with the Geist, they block, you protect your Geist with the step, you attack again, you've gotten through 8 damage. Pretty good. The sideboard's mostly hate bears. Stony Silence is effectively a hate bear. I can't wait for them to make Null Rod Dork. Like 2 mana, 2/1 that Null Rods. That will be an absolute delight for everyone playing Vintage. Some Thalia, sure. Maybe we'll beat a combo deck with those. A Mind Sensor, sure. You don't actually ever beat a combo deck with this card, but, you know, you can hope. Kitchen Finks, you do beat a burn deck with this card. This card's very good. Some Spell Skites. This card also does actually beat combo decks. Dramoka's Command is kind of the go-to green-white deck that needs a removal spell but doesn't really know what it wants card right now. I'm not actually sure it's good, but it's fine. And this card that I'm actually really excited about, Stubborn Denial. So things that we have that we can Stubborn Denial with. Smiter, Knight of the Reliquary, Tarmogoyf. Most likely not Scavenging Ooze, because in the matchups you're Stubborn Denialing, you're more likely to not have creatures in graveyard, but you could. So we've got 10, potentially 12 things to go with it, which is plus companies. So it's probably enough to actually make it active. Um, so I'm pretty excited to actually cast this card. This is a card that I think is really powerful and just kind of lacking a home most of the time. But anyways, the deck looks very well constructed in terms of what it's trying to do. It's definitely better than the pure combo builds, I think, because of their vulnerability to all the cards that Twin is vulnerable to. This deck is actually just like a good against Faradex deck that has a combo in it, and I'm interested to see particularly how well this card performs in games where you don't draw the combo.